All right, y'all. Welcome back and happy Sunday. It's time for my dad, the thoughts and grades for our Tennessee Volunteers versus Syracuse. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to tell y'all straight out the gate, this is a playoff team. There's a lot of things that I saw going back, watching the film several times, that I absolutely love about this team, from the scheme to the way that the players are straining and playing and just everything. There's a lot of things that I really, really love. There are some things that we need to get cleaned up. It's just the first game. I know that we will get them cleaned up. The most positive thing, though, is that our floor is super high. There's nothing that I hated going back and watching film. So with all that being said, what we're currently looking at are the stats from Pro Football Focus. I like this because there's a lot of different stats here. So as we start to scroll through, y'all take y'all's time and pause it and look at whatever you want to look at. But let me go ahead and give my grades for the coaching staff: offense, defense, special teams. Everyone gets a very solid A. We had players ready to play. There were some guys that, maybe missed some time, maybe missed the whole game, or, had to go out early on in this game. The young guys were ready to play. They knew what the expectations were. They knew where to be. I think that we played really hard. The schemes on offense and defense were beautiful. Some differences, like with some of our blitz packages, which I love. Some differences with our coverage, which I love. And also on offense, man, tighter splits, pistol, inside zone, outside zone, power. There's just a lot of things to love about what this staff has done with this team. Coach Heupel, super proud of him, super proud of everybody. So again, everyone there gets a very solid A. Now, let's come back up to the top and let's just talk about some of these stats. I'm not going to go through maybe even a fraction of this, just because there is so much. But you can see inside of this column, okay, this is going to be like the team stats. This middle one is like the running numbers and the passing numbers for both teams. This one is just going to show you special teams numbers. So starting off with the offensive plays, Syracuse had 84. Tennessee only needed 68 to win this game by about 19 points. That's a positive sign inside of my mind. Now, as you keep on going through, you'll see the red zone numbers. Our red zone defense wasn't outstanding, but the red zone offense definitely took that step forward. I'll also say this. I think that our offense is going to be significantly better than anybody could have ever dreamed of. It's going to be a major problem. So coming over here now, right, just looking up at the top, these are all rushing numbers for both teams. So Syracuse ran the football 39 times. Tennessee ran it 40 times. Y'all can see that they actually had 142 yards from scrimmage. If you go look at ESPN stats, they take out all the negative yardage. So there, I think it's only at 102 rushing for Syracuse. But this is why P and I said last night, yeah, the run defense does need to take a step forward. A lot of folks got banged up. The young players will grow up and they will get better over the course of this year, but they got to grow up really, really quick. Like Coach Heupel always says, no time for the young players to be young. But Tennessee also had 250 yards rushing, right? So that's beautiful. And then you can see some of the other things, right? Average yards per rush, average yards prior to contact and after contact. Looking good for our Vols, okay? This one right here, seeing that they had 3.6 yards, per carry, but only 1.1 before contact. We definitely, we got to do a better job, getting people down. I think that we tackled well. It wasn't a whole lot of missed tackles, but on contact, get the folks down. I'll say that. Just kind of early on in this process. Now, as far as the runs of 10 plus yards, Tennessee had 7, Syracuse had 3. Y'all can see what the rest of that looks like. So I'm gonna keep on scrolling, and y'all can see that Tennessee passed the football 28 times last night. Syracuse passed it 45 times. Y'all can see how all these different numbers look right here as well. Okay, think we did a very, very nice job. Love the new wrinkles. I'm not going to call it a totally new offensive system, because it's not. We still saw the wide splits, but just having that curveball, that's what's going to really put this team in a great spot, I think. So we'll go on ahead and take a look at some of these passing numbers just a little bit closer. Y'all can see Tennessee, right? This is us. This is the quarterback. This is Syracuse. This is the quarterback inside of those columns. So these are the dropbacks. I'll just kind of go through and let y'all take a look at what each of these different columns mean, so that y'all can take y'all's time and really find out about our stats and how things look. I think that again, I'm going to keep on saying, I think that we did a really, really good job. I'm proud of what we did. Very, very proud. I think that Joey Aguilar had a great game, okay? Wasn't perfect, but I think it was great. So here, you can see that this is just basically inside of this column. This is showing what the accuracy would have been without the drops. So at about 65.5%, if we didn't have so many drops. Now, PFF only gave us credit for, I think, 2 drops. We had more than that. So as we get further into the year, they'll probably come back and get those numbers fixed. But again, I think that Joey, he had a very, very nice game. So let me keep on going through, and Y'all can, again, just pause it, right? I'm just going to go through here briefly so that y'all can see everything. Now, let's go to these rushing numbers just very, very quickly, right? Same thing here, right? This is all of Tennessee's rushers. This is all of Syracuse rushers. I take the PFF grades with a grain of salt, but we look good there, right? I think that Peyton Lewis had a really, really nice showing, but his, grade at 71, I think that he was probably better than that. I think that Star Thomas was much better than what they gave him credit for. So, we'll just go through and let y'all see what all these different stat metrics are. But yeah, just beautiful, beautiful job. So these are going to be the yards after contact. So we average about 4.3 yards after contact, which is good. I mean, that's obviously good for our running backs, but you would want for them to get more yards before contact, which would be these columns right here. You know what I'm saying? So we only average 1.9 yards before contact. Now, there's some things that Syracuse did with their scheme. They kind of messed with Tennessee's blocking numbers and all that. We got to get that figured out because we know that we're going to be facing some real dudes coming up here within these next couple of weeks. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the grades for this team. So starting off with Tennessee's offensive line, gave him an A-. Really probably could have given him like a very solid A. I think that the run blocking is elite. It's as good as it's ever been at the University of Tennessee. It is on that level. It's top 3. These guys are outstanding. Yes, it's versus Syracuse, but you can just tell if you're moving people, it looks like a high school highlight tape with guys like J.C. Perry, the whole line, guys. I mean, it's unbelievable. Gorgeous. P and I both talked about it. Cannot say enough positive things about our, run blocking. Short David Sanders was also going to be good there as well. But pass blocking, I think that was very solid, better than it was last year. That there's a few steps that we can take forward there. Now, with our defensive line, this is just our front 4. I think that we got maybe 2 sacks there. The pressure was pretty good. Pass rush was pretty good. The run stopping was better than I thought it was last night. It wasn't outstanding, but it was pretty solid. Don Bailey had to bump inside a whole lot for us just because we need for their, very accurate passes for the most part. A couple of them were high. Hey, listen, guys, that's going to happen. He's not going to be perfect. That's going to get better. I think that here, like some of this stuff, just beautiful operation of Tennessee's offense. And also, you're going to see here, once the pressure comes, beautiful job of getting outside of the pocket and getting us a dadgum first down. I did not see his legs being this much of a factor. How's that look versus like an SEC team with much better athletes? We'll see. But I think that his legs could be a little bit more of a factor than what I personally thought heading into things. Now, tight ends, I think that we did a pretty good job blocking. Pass pro was, really good. I think that our run blocking was pretty solid. Miles Kitselman, I think that he did a really nice job. We didn't utilize them as much in our passing game, but overall pretty solid from them. Still a whole lot of room for growth, I would say, with that unit. Running backs, A+ here, guys. I mean, catching the football coming out of the backfield. Love that wrinkle in Tennessee's system. These guys can catch it. They out of that, really good vision, really good patience, inside zone, outside zone power. I don't think that we have any clips from Peyton Lewis, but he had a really nice game too. Wasn't his absolute best showing, but I think that he's a very good player. He's going to have a good year. Now, wide receivers, okay? Gave them a B here. Now, I'm going to pause it just because last night we talked about those drops. I think that it was better than I felt like it was last night. I actually gave Mike Matthews credit for like 5 drops. He only had 2 that I went back and counted. That was actually his fault. It's not the end of the world. It's not absolutely horrible, but understand, like P said last night, he's coming from the same area that P and I grew up in. Like, that's our area. We take a whole lot of pride in everybody and everything that comes out of this area. So, of course, we're going to hold him to a very, very high standard. That's not because we don't like him. It's actually quite the opposite. It's because we love him and we have high expectations. We want for him to be a top 5 draft pick, and he has the talent to actually do that. And, we're not coaches on this team, but something that players know is that as a coach, whenever a coach is being hard on you and is like getting onto you and wants you to do better, it means that they think highly of you. If we're not saying nothing about him or, saying, hey, we want more out of him, then that just means that we don't think that he can do better. But he can do better, and I think he'd be one of the first people to actually tell you that. But I think that they did a really good job of getting open. We had some drops, but wasn't absolutely horrible. We had to get it cleaned up. Does need to be better, but I think that we're in a much better spot with our wide receivers than maybe I had maybe thought that we would be. So that's a very positive thing. And then also blocking, man, they did a beautiful job blocking. They were very dominant blocking. I think that we have a real team, y'all. We're going to be really good. So linebackers, okay, I've got them at a B. I think that they did some really nice things. They actually showed a lot more patience this year with their eyes and not getting fooled than what we saw last year. So they're only going to get better. There's a lot of young guys who got to play. There's a lot of walk-ons and things like that who also got to play. So in some of the spurts where Syracuse is getting first downs, we had walk-ons out there. So it really not as bad as maybe we thought watching it live, right? But, in the past coverage, we also didn't cover grass as much. People are intentionally trying to go out there and find someone to latch on to. So I think that we'll be fine from that standpoint. Secondary, I think that they played very well. I know that people are looking and say, well, we gave up 3rd downs and 4th downs. Well, guys, that's going to happen. I think that Syracuse passing offense, just like from a scheme standpoint, is probably the best that we'll see all year long. It is elite. It's a great scheme. Very tough to stop, especially playing zone. Now, man-to-man coverage, I think that our secondary players look great there, right? Maybe not as much in the zone. And really, even with some of the passes that they hit on, wasn't so much because of our secondary. It was really more because of maybe like linebackers, or there was just a hole in our zone. That's going to happen, okay? And Syracuse missed some of those opportunities, but, they also hit on them. That's part of the game. That is going to happen. We talked about that leading up to this game. So I think that this team, on all three levels, offense, defense, I guess we could maybe say special teams too. There is such a high ceiling, like our floor. Like, just think about it this way. This game versus Syracuse, an ACC team, we talked about it, similar to like NC State. Tennessee played NC State in our second game last year. Typically, the most growth happens between the first and the second games of a year. I think that, man, this offense looks a lot better in our first game, versus the Syracuse team than it did versus NC State last year. So the defense will catch up. It will get better, but the offense having this sort of a floor lets me know that, hey, man, we can go play with a football team. And once we get in, I think that, again, we can beat anybody. So those are my thoughts. Please share yours down in that comment section. And as always, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And we'll be talking to y'all here in just a minute. Thanks. Peace. Thanks for watching. And please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, because that keeps us growing inside of the YouTube algorithm. And if you did like this video, here's another one that you might also enjoy. Thank you. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.